Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we'll be talking little bit about Rutherford's gold foil experiment. It is one of the most important experiments we will talk about this year because it taught us a lot about what we know about the atom today. So while I'm going through this, you should be writing it down. That way, you have these notes, you have this diagram to use it to help you to work on the simulation that you'll be completing afterwards. So we're starting a little bit with Rutherford's gold foil experiment. So obviously that's the name. So then we'll come down here, and I have a little drawing to help us. So a few things that I want to talk about this drawing. So right here in the center, there is a piece of gold foil. So think about like aluminum foil, except instead of being made out of aluminum, it's made out of gold. So I mean, I wish I could wrap my sandwiches in gold foil before I come into school every morning and then just have like my blinged out lunch. But it can't be the same. Gold foil is actually pretty expensive because it is made out of gold. So we have that gold foil in the center. And then what we have here, I want to talk about this first, the bottom left corner. This is our alpha particle emitter. So it's not important that we know what an alpha particle is yet, but what we do need to know about an alpha particle at this point is alpha particles, they have a positive charge. That that will be really important later. We'll have to use it in some of our explanations, kind of to describe what's happening. Next, around the gold foil, there is a detecting screen. So think about like a fluorescent light. It's kind of like made out of the same material. And what ends up happening is when the alpha particles strike the screen, it causes it to like light up like a tiny little light. So then you'd be able to see where those alpha particles were going. So this is what ends up happening. Those alpha particles, they get shot at the gold foil. A bunch of them pass straight through, and we would see like little lights. We can draw like little lights over there to symbolize that like the detection screen is firing. Then we saw some of the particles, they shot off in a bunch of different directions. So at the time, this was really confusing. People were kind of like, well, why are all these alpha particles going in such different ways? Like what's happening here? So this is kind of what we are going to be exploring today with the simulation. These two main questions that people were asking us. So first, most of those particles passed straight through. Some particles were deflected. That word might be important at strange angles. So again, why? Why? How we were able to draw these conclusions? This is the important thing. So what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be messing around with a simulation today. That simulation will mimic this gold foil experiment for us. This one where we're shooting alpha particles at a piece of gold foil, and then we're kind of watching to see which directions they're going in. So if we switch screens real quick. So this is the screen that it's look like when you're gonna find that PHET simulation when you go to that link. So then we're gonna click it. And it loads up the simulation for us. We're on Rutherford scattering. We're gonna pick the Rutherford atom. And then we're kind of looking at this weird screen. So on this screen, mine's a little bit cut off on the left side, but here's your alpha particle button. Over here on this side, on the right side, you're going to be able to control the alpha particles, the number of protons, the number of neutrons. I know we haven't talked a lot about an atom yet, but remember guys, protons and neutrons, they're located in the nucleus, which is this little yellow dot in the center. It's this is remember when we have more than one dot, it's because it's like having a lot of gold. It's like having a gold foil with a bunch of different gold atoms next to each other to have a bunch of gold atoms. So you are going to have to click this traces part over here on the right side. This will make it a little bit easier for us to see what's happening. And then we click the button. We're going to watch what these alpha particles are doing, look at these trace, and we're going to be able to make some inferences about what's happening here. While these are going on, you're going to draw some pictures. On the right side, you can change, you can decrease the protons, you can increase the protons, we can change the neutrons, we can lower or higher. And essentially, what we're going to be trying to do is we're going to try to be drawing some relationships from what happens when we change the protons, when we change the neutrons, um, to see what happens and draw those conclusions and try to answer those questions. Why do most of the particles pass straight through? Why are some of those particles deflected at strange angles? So, with all this being said, guys, I know we haven't talked about the atom yet, so this is going to be very exploratory. So, all I can say, guys, at this point is try your best. It's okay to be wrong. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is it will be a completion check, and we'll start talking about this next class, and it will jump into our unit on the atom, protons, neutrons, and electrons, which make up elements and everything around us. So I guess what I'm trying to get at, because I haven't taught this yet, if you have questions, even though it's a completion check, you can still earn credit if you write down your questions. So if you get stuck at some point, write down what you're getting stuck on. Write down what you're thinking, so then I can help you the next class. The point that I want to make, guys, is remember, I don't know. That's not a question. That doesn't tell me you thought about it, because that's all I'm looking for at this point is that you're thinking about it, so then we can have a discussion next class. Um, I always kind of like to end these videos with a joke. This is one that I heard last year. So, what did the cannibal say to the clown? You taste funny. Well, I hope everyone has a great day. I'll see you next class. Bye.